welcome to the live stream. You have dropped in on a live stream day when I wasn't expecting to do a live stream because I thought I was going to be in Denmark. I am not in Denmark. I am in the exact same place you always see me. And that is because my vacation was canceled, kind of by my choice. By my choice because apparently the airlines can just move your flight by 4 days. So your entire trip by 4 days, and like extend it with just a few days before you're due to leave, and therefore I was unwilling to rebook everything else for my trip. So anyway, I'm here. Although I am going to attempt to make the same trip to Denmark at the end of December. Stay tuned to find out if that happens, as well as the $280 round trip to Finland I booked for a different time in December. So who knows when it's going to happen. Welcome. I did almost no promotion for this live stream, and I decided that we would just, because I'm supposed to be on vacation, we would just lean into my current hyperfixation, which is attempting to find my planner for 2022. And I know you say, hey, Lily, we're only 75% of the way through 2021. Why are you already planning for your planner in 2022? And the answer is because I've been influenced. Essentially, one, I've always, my entire life, since I was a wee child, been convinced that the time of year when you start planning new office and stationery things is September. It's back to school season. But the other reason is because I am considering moving into one of the cults of the planner world. And they pretty proudly call themselves a cult, which are people who use the Hobonichi Techo books, which Techo, I'm not good at pronouncing Japanese. It just means calendar in Japanese. You will see it come up a lot in here. So we will, we're going to talk about kind of some of the weird micro-economies within the planner world, because for people that are in the quote-unquote planner community, as opposed to just regular planner users, which there is a distinction, and we will get into, there are so many interesting small business models that have come out of this that simply would not have been possible pre-social media, like not even just pre, easy e-commerce and stuff like that. Like, social media is what holds this entire group of international people that like to plan their time on paper together. But also, it is not just on paper. Things that I have learned, which do not appeal to my particular sensibilities, is that there is a whole nother world of people who decorate and buy things for their digital planners. They buy digital stickers to put on their digital planners. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But this may just actually end up being mostly a look at pretty planners with me and remark on how expensive they are. And yeah, I guess I dug up some good stuff. Anyway, welcome. Oro says, hi, your outfit is on point as usual. Thank you. I put on the pants for you all. I wasn't wearing the pants earlier because, pants, wool pants. It's September. It's only September. It feels very fall-esque outfit. But yes, this is from a French brand whose name I'm totally not going to pronounce correctly. Pivonier? And they do upcycled fabrics, and it is phenomenal. It's like almost entirely wool fabric. I'm very happy with it. This was a treat I got for myself, and I'm very pleased with getting it as a treat. It was not inexpensive, but it wasn't overpriced considering that it is made in France and upcycled fabrics and really good cuts. So yeah, anyway. Yes, the academic year planners. So the problem I run into is that I want both a January planner and then I always end up wanting a new planner in July every year. At a minimum, I want 2 planners a year. Not for any logistical reasons in my life, but because for me, they fulfill some sort of deeper existential crisis getting my life together. The other thing is that my birthday is in July, and so I just naturally have this like turnover point where I feel like it's a new year in the middle of the year. 6-month planners are good, but I always convince myself I'm going to find the perfect solution for a 12-month planner. Interestingly enough, the only planner I have ever managed to fill out every single weekend is this one that I did not buy myself. This planner was given to me as a gift at my job, and I made it through. I filled out every single week of this planner, like heavily filled out. And this is a passion planner. The even bigger irony to me is that I hate undated planners, and it's taken me a long time to figure out why I hate undated planners. And I think I have determined, since being diagnosed with ADHD, that there are 2 reasons that are related to the way my brain works. One, I cannot stand the absolute tedium of filling in all of the numbers, like for future months and stuff like that. And the problem that I have with that is that, like, I will make a mistake if you make me do something like that. And I get a planner. One of the reasons I use paper planners in addition to using digital planners is I like to plan like way out in the future on paper so that, you know, when things change, it's just easier for me to conceive of time this way. But I was given an undated planner. So I decided, because I was given it, I went and I bought stickers. That this was probably my first like explicit planner sticker purchases, but they are sized to fit precisely in this planner, and they were already predated with all of the weeks and everything. The other thing I hated about this, I hate when weeks start on Sunday, but I still managed to use this entire planner despite that. So I have no explanation for why I finished this, but I think the final and the last but not least reason that I finished this planner was because I'm very motivated by streaks. That's why I like undated. That's why I like dated planners, because I will feel more compelled to make sure everything gets filled out if it's already dated. If I know that I can just give up at any time because it's undated, I hold that in my brain. Latitude says, I filled in the dates wrong on an undated planner and it fucked up my entire week, and I thought about how much you hate undated planners. That's why I hate undated planners. But I do think buying those stickers that were like precisely sized, somehow it was like a lot easier for me to just focus on sticking all of those in. I did, at the time that I had most of that planner, I had a job with a ton of downtime early in the morning. So I had a lot of time at like 6 a.m. where I could do kind of tedious tasks that could also be stopped in the middle and I could come back to. And I think that's another reason that the planner ended up so decorated and I was so consistent with it, because I would essentially plan my week on Mondays when I was at that job, in between clients and stuff like that, and cleaning and my job tasks. I love how much color you use. Well, we'll talk about why I'm trying to decide which planner I should go with. So I think my planning style's evolved, but all right. Should we talk about the planner dive in? I don't know. How are you all? Is anybody on a vacation that they actually plan to be on? And they're here at this live stream? Do we want to talk about the weird planner world, or do we want to go through this entire stack of planners I brought out? Believe it or not, this is not even all of my planners. So the other thing is I hold on to all of my planners after I'm done with them. So I have like 15, 16, 17 years of planners up there. Maybe 20? I might have 20 years of planners. Abel Jack says tropical storm headed towards Texas. Are are you the tropical storm headed toward, are you headed with the tropical storm towards Texas, or is the tropical storm headed toward Texas? Both of these could be true for you, Ablejack, so I'm trying to figure out if you are actually headed toward Texas or just the tropical storm is. Latitude says, this is the silliest micro-economy that I am so heavily involved in. Camille says, don't we all? I think I'm assuming you're referring to getting rid of planners. A lot of people get rid of old planners, and I'm someone who gets rid of, like, I don't have a lot of things I hold on to sentimentally, and I own very few books compared to a lot of my peers, but planners are one of those things where I'm just like, I did so much work in this, and it's like helpful for later if I need to find something out. I don't know. Oro says, I called out at work today, so sort of a vacation day, but only due to PMS giving me SADS. Ugh. I'm sorry. Well, thank you. Latitude says, this talk is specifically very important to me. Oro gets rid of old planners? I'm impressed. Teach me your ways. Because in reality, these don't really serve me. So the other thing, too, one of the reasons I keep them is I continually convince myself that so I've designed a planner, and we had hopes of releasing it as an Oh My Dollar planner. Originally, we hoped to do it in 2021, but given what happened in 2020, that very quickly became not the year to try to launch it. And then it just seemed like I wasn't willing to do the amount of marketing you need to do, which we'll talk a little bit about what you need to do in order to sell the minimum order that we were going to be able to go with. So I'm also not doing it for 2022. But one of the reasons I hold on to all my old planners is since I switch planners almost every year, even though I convince myself that I'm going to find the perfect planner for me, and then it's going to be perfectly functional. I struggle. I struggle to get rid of them because I enjoy being able to like measure the margins and the sizes and compare against each other in my quest to be better at designing planners for the future planner line that I will have someday. But Ablejack says planners and journals, they all go once they're full. I don't do a lot of journaling. I mostly especially handwriting journaling, just because I can't write by hand for that long. But I'm so surprised. I feel like journals are one of those last things to get rid of. I love reading people that I don't even know's like old journals. Sometimes you find them like show up at like Goodwill or old bookstores and stuff. And I love reading like journals from like 60 years ago from like some random teenage girl that lived in my town or something. I just find it's so fascinating to peer into people's everyday lives. I also, in a similar nerdy way, I love to read the accounts of debits and credits. So essentially in England, they've kept this extremely long series of tax records, and it tells you so much about what average people made. It's also sort of like a consumer price index, so it'll tell you how much like an average thing will cost based on taxation for VAT and everything. And I love reading that too, because I just like to have an idea of like, okay, what was a housemaid making, and then how much did it cost to buy an apron? Erin says, I might still have all my journals from high school, and I both don't want to read them, but I also don't want to throw them out. I will say I got rid of quite a lot of my journals from my really young years because I was a really avid, heavy journaler, diarist when I was in elementary school, and also obsessed with planners. I was really into fountain pens because I was a tiny child who liked to dress up in historical clothing and fancied herself as like, a time traveler from the 1780s. So I kept a lot of journals, and I really regret I had kept them, and they were still at my parents' house back in Cincinnati. And when they moved out of Cincinnati, I took a visit out there and went through, and I got rid of like quite a lot of them. And I now kind of regret it because I love listening to, there's this bar series that I think also turned into a podcast but it's where people read their own journals from when they were a kid, or their own like letters that they passed in school or something like that. And I find it great. And I feel like I had a lot of really pretentious stuff in there. So, should we dive into the planner economies? I don't know how you really toss journals. I'm impressed. Although, and I actually regret, I rarely regret stuff I get rid of, but in the case of those journals, I do. Erin says that podcast stresses me out. I don't know if I'd like it in podcast form. I like it in bar form because you're kind of laughing with everyone else, and you can kind of see how uncomfortable someone might be like on the stage. And it just, I feel like it felt better in bars. All right, let's dive in. So what are, I want to talk about all these different elements of the planner world before we just get into what is probably likely me just shopping with you on the internet for things I'm not going to buy. So, planning really started to take off as a internet phenomenon around 10 years ago. And it was, planning and stationery were always a thing for which there were enthusiasts, but as Facebook started to really concentrate amongst people that had more disposable income, so, you know, the post-college, like, professional set, a lot of stay-at-home mothers in particular, then what kind of happened and blossomed around it was a group of people that either used planners from as a form of creative expression. So a lot of what sprung up was the kind of what used to be considered scrapbookers, of which there is overlap, but like the scrapbookers kind of turned into the functional planners, which then turned into this very creative sort of planner world. And it's got overlaps with, you know, the self-improvement world. It has overlaps with the like online art world. It has overlaps with the, you know, calligraphy world. And not all of these intersect. But one of the things that allowed it to really blossom was Facebook. And the reason Facebook allowed it to blossom so much was that a lot of people used Facebook to connect with other planner enthusiasts. So look, this is just, I just searched the word planners. And this is how many planner groups there are on Facebook in the first like 2 screens that I was on. Look at how many people are in the Planners Gone Wild community. And I think that one was originally formed like 10 years ago. And it's turned into a convention and a conference. It has 62,000 members. The next one, which is just about a specific kind of planner, has 26,000 members. The next one is for that same kind of planner again, but it's a different group and it has 9,000 members. And then there's one for a different kind of group that has 10,000 members. And then there's another one for that kind of planner, has 11,000 members. There is one for Filofaxes. So Filofaxes have been around for a long time. These are not part of the new planner trend. I didn't even have my Filofax down here. So this was the one I tried to get into Filofax in like 2013, and notably my planner like slightly broke immediately upon getting this like brand name thing. But this Filofax is like a binder. You probably knew them from some hyper organized friend that you had in the 90s. In the 90s, the big things in the planner world were Franklin Covey, and which originally was just Franklin Planner, and then it turned to Franklin Covey, and then next was and then Filofax kind of also had its payday. Latitude says Planners Gone Wild was made in like 2014. It used to be Erin Condren Goes Wild. No, it was not made in 2014. It's been around way longer than 2014 for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah. They banned me as a fun fact. Well, Planners Gone Wild, I don't want to get into this is not a gossip drama about groups, but I will say Planners Gone Wild is known for having the most drama amongst any of the planner groups. And like there was a massive schism that happened there around 2014. Like they they had a massive schism in 2014, and then it turned into 5 other planner groups, and then it was like there was like another planner group that was like we're the no drama version of the Planners Gone Wild thing, and like I don't know, it seemed like there was going to be an epic showdown at their conference in Texas or something, and there was going to be like a Filofax shootout or something. I don't know what was going on. I was never deeply involved in any of that, but so what the groups kind of allowed to happen, 1, they gave each other inspiration. 2, they acted as, so now there is Facebook Marketplace, but when these groups really started to spring up, there was no actual mechanism for selling things on Facebook, but a lot of them existed as buy-sell trade groups. And the reason that buy-sell trade groups are important to this entire microeconomy is because a lot of these brands, their resale value is higher than their market value, their original market value. And the reason that so much of it kind of like I think existed within the Facebook Marketplace is that there was very much this like trust-based system that came from these internal networks of sharing pictures and everything like that. But then as Instagram started to grow in popularity, the planner community really moved a lot more to Instagram. And then the second tool that really comes into play at having this huge planner economy boom that has happened in the past, I would say 5 or 6 years, is YouTube. And I tried to like estimate how many planner YouTubers there are out there, and it's just not possible. There are quite a few people in the planner niche on YouTube that do a couple style of videos. They do Plan With Me's, which is literally just their hands and their planner, and you'll see them put on all the washi tape and fill in their spreads, as they're called, which is what a week or a daily or a monthly spread is called in a planner. They will show off hauls. So another part of this planner economy of the reselling of things is that even things that are not small brands. So this is a brand that is huge in Japan, but very hard to find in the US, and therefore kind of more understandable that it has a higher resale value outside of Japan. This is a like super small indie brand. Well, it was. Now it's available now this is available at Office Depot because they got a like Office Depot deal or a Staples deal. But this was originally a super small indie brand. And so, okay, it's holding onto its resale value because there's limited amounts or whatever. What also happens is Michaels, which is a massive like craft and arts and craft supply chain here in the US. Similar one is Hobby Lobby. Which Hobby Lobby is the one that really thinks that they should not have to pay for women's birth control that work for them on their health insurance. So yeah. So Michaels, the reason Michaels is important here, and we don't need to go into the Hobby Lobby detour that I wanted to take us on. The reason Michaels is important here is because Michaels has a massive planner section, but they have really been very slow to have inventory on their e-commerce. And they also they'll have inventory on their e-commerce, but it's never consistent. It completely varies by store. And a lot of stuff will just never be sold online. Like it'll only be sold on the store. And there's a lot of people who don't live near a Michaels because not every place has one. And it's very hit or miss. If you're at a certain at a certain Michaels, you may see a ton of something, and you might not see any of it at the Michaels that's like, 5 miles away. So what people do is they go and they get everything. They'll either film in the store on their smartphones, these are what the new releases are at Michael's, or what they'll do is they'll buy up almost everything that is considered limited edition, hard to get from certain brands, and then they will resell it online. Facebook marketplace groups are one of the first places to start, but a lot of the planner-specific marketplace groups actually have cracked down on some of the price gouging that people are doing. So instead, what people do is they go to the kind of more common resale apps, eBay, Mercari, and Poshmark. And people will mark up even just like a random sticker book. So this is an example of a sticker book that you would get this is a Happy Planner sticker book. It's a pretty big sticker book. The retail price for this at Michael's is usually $20. However, you can find these, you can almost always get a 50% off coupon at Michael's because they send a ton. They're a huge big box store. They send a ton of coupons. You can stack coupons there and stuff too. So people will find these, especially ones that are harder to find, more rare, and they will take them home, film content about where they'll just flip through all of the things, partially because Michael's and some of the big brands are so bad at creating marketing because they tend to be more for a mass market audience versus the more niche brands or the brands that really have their marketing game dialed in, like Hobonichi, which is the cult I'm considering joining, and you should all try to talk me out of it. So they will provide the marketing essentially, and they will film flip throughs, and then they will mark up the price beyond what the market price is and sell it online because you can't get a Michael's to ship you those products. So your only hope is to find someone that is selling them. So don't get involved. Are you talking about not getting involved from the into Hobonichi? I sold limited edition Happy Planner stuff for like $250 summer 2019. So Happy Planner is one of these planners that is sold at a lot of big box brands. They are a small business, but they have contracts with a ton of huge companies. And their method is that all of their stuff is interchangeable. They're disc bound, which is a type of thing where it's like a 3-ring binder, except it acts like a spiral notebook. So you can like pull pages out and put them in. And I don't like it because I don't like huge rings at all. Their Happy Planner, their strategy is they release a ton of stuff. So they release essentially twice a year, like these huge sticker books. They'll end up releasing like, I don't know how many of these, maybe 50 of these. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Somewhere between 20 and 50 of these per year will come out in all different things. There'll be sticker books for faith, workout, different characters. They have these like happy planner girls that are characters doing different things that you might be doing in your day, and they all have different skin colors and hair types and things like that, or some of them will be nurses or something like that. So they're essentially, their strategy is to have really diverse designed things. So like this one is just like a ton of stickers that are like watercolor style, but then one of my other planner books from them, and I've had these for years, like I've been slowly using all the stickers up on these, but like this one is like, there's an entire sheet of like, thumbs up and thumbs down and rain clouds. Like these are all very specific. And then they also do that with the design of their planners. So they release a ton of planner designs. Most planner companies will not release a bunch of different internal designs for their planners. If anything, they just have maybe one or two, like one will be vertical, one will be a horizontal layout, and then maybe there'll be a couple different cover designs. But what Happy Planner does is they go wild. Like there is totally tons and tons of different drama there. Latitude says, oh, Michael's was Latitude's first job. One year we did not get any stuff in for Hanukkah, and I was instructed to tell customers that we had sold out. Oh no. That's my hot Michael's drama. They paid me minimum wage. Be Queer Make Stuff says, these are all so cute, but what on earth makes them worth so much dollars? So do you think that the $20 for a sticker book is a lot? Because do I have news for you, my friend? Those are actually extremely good deals because they have economies of scale. So I can also tell you something from the perspective of like someone who does a lot of sticker sheet printing. This is a book with probably like 50 different pages with like each of the pages has between 5 and 50 die cuts on it. Like that die cut type of stickers printing is very expensive, and it's very hard to do high quality with those sort of sheets. So it's only that they're able to charge only $20 for that big of a sticker book, because of the economies of scale. So if you were to get that from a smaller indie brand that doesn't distribute at all of the Michaels, that would probably be a $60 sticker book at a minimum. So $20 for a sticker book is fantastic. They have since raised their prices for $22. Yeah, I will say that their sticker books are a really good deal. I have quite a few other sticker books that I've gotten in various places, none of which are as big as those that I have spent quite a lot of money in. But I am also, when I first got into watching like planner YouTube videos, I was like blown away by how big people's collections are. And I was just like, how on earth could you ever figure out what sticker to use if you have so many stickers? So Latitude says, in general, you can expect to pay like $4 a sheet for sticker sheets. I find it a little lower, like somewhere around $3, but we're going to get into that. Okay. So that's the first thing, is that the kind of the things blossoming, they blossomed on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. Facebook because of the resale values, and Instagram because obviously it's a very visual platform. A lot of people have accounts that are just for planner content, and they'll share their weekly or their daily spreads, and people will have different planning styles. So some people's will be like very beautiful and watercolory. Let's see what some let's just search the Hobonichi hashtag. Oh, okay. So let's just look at the Hobonichi hashtag. So 1.1 million posts on this. People will have different planning styles, but you can see just the sheer amount of like, look at this like planner cart and how many things they have in there. And people will share these beautiful layouts of their spreads. Some people will have very like minimal, naturey ones. And then some people will have kind of more like, you know, old school journaling style. So you can really see, this is just one specific planner brand, by the way. And this is 1.1 million posts on this hashtag. So you can really see like the sheer amount of, if we search, let's see if we search Planner Nerd. That's one of the ones so there's just under the Planner Nerd hashtag, there's 2.4 million posts. You really see like a range of different planning styles in here. So where does the Instagrams and the YouTube channels come in? Because there are so many YouTube channels about planners, and people will do hauls. They'll do unboxings. They'll tell you how their planning style has changed. They'll make 40-minute videos called My 2022 Setup, and it'll be them actually physically just like putting their planners in covers and labeling the months and like adding index tabs, and lots of people will watch these. But there's a ton of planner channels that keep going despite not necessarily having huge audience numbers, because you don't have to have a huge audience in order to get value out of this. So this can be a really expensive hobby for people. It leans heavily into consumerism. People buy stickers and washi tape and new planners and new covers, and that can add up a ton, and new pens and calligraphy pens and whatever the new trends in planning are, because that is 100% a thing. For example, in like 2014, there was a cup at Target that was like a lady's head that you could put pens in, and it looked like hair was sticking out. And literally every planner person felt the need to have that cup. And because of it, it's even become like a symbol now of planners, because it was such a trend in the planning community. People were over, it was like a dollar spot. So it was like a dollar, dollar thing at Target. People were reselling that cup if they still had it available at their Target for 10 times, 20 times the original price, and shipping it internationally because it was such a trend. So, but why is it valuable to keep creating content and keep making so much of this content about planners if you don't necessarily have a large audience size? So people aren't necessarily making money off of these videos or their Instagram accounts, but what they are doing is getting free product. So almost all the small sticker stores out there, so like if you go look at Paper Bits Company, this is a sticker shop. This is one of the microeconomies that has sprung up in the planner community. It is so common to own a sticker shop that is mostly run on Etsy in the world of the planner world that you can search Etsy for actually, like, let's go to Etsy right now. Planner, wait, we'll just call it shop owner. We don't even have to specify it. Shop owner planner stickers. Can I change this orientation or no? Am I stuck at this part? There we go. All right. Look at how many different planner stickers there are for people that own shops. So this one is a cute kawaii planner stickers that are adorable little mailboxes for packing your orders, shipping your orders, packing your orders, shipping your orders. So a lot of people in the planning community run sticker shops, and they might not make a ton of money off of their sticker shops, but what they are doing is two things. They are buying clout in the community, because if they have a sticker shop, then they can trade product with other sticker shops and help fuel their habit. And two, what income that they do get might offset what they spend on planners. So for a lot of people, their sticker shops are offsetting their hobbies. One of the other reasons that I think sticker shops have become so common in the planner community is the planner community for a long time was very much dominated by mothers, and particularly stay-at-home mothers, or people that were in some sort of role where their main creative expression was their planning and their scheduling, and they didn't necessarily have the kind of job. Is this still warm? No, I'm gonna have to have you warm that up again. They wouldn't necessarily have the kind of job. They wouldn't be able to support a full-time work outside of the home schedule. But there are a ton of people that have creative small businesses now because of the planner community. They do all their marketing on Instagram by trading products, giving products to other Instagram people, influencers on the platform, which don't need to be big. They can be micro influencers, because what happens is there's this thing called PR team, and even small sticker shops. So like this sticker shop has 276 sales on Instagram. That's not huge. It's a business, but it's probably not their full-time job. And they they do this thing called PR, where they will put out an application where they'll say, hey, we're hiring a PR team for the next year. You submit your Instagram. It's not really about your numbers, it's about your planning style. If your planning style fits the type of stickers that they have, they will then send you PR, which is usually every month you will get stickers from them. And the kind of trade is that you get an affiliate deal at their shop. So you'll get a special code to your name, so that they can kind of track sales based on that. And this is one of the cool microeconomies because there are a ton of people that are now able to make an income from home because there are things like cray cuts and, just like regular nice home printers that for a couple $100, you can set up a business that can functionally support. And the marketing is something that is, easier to do from home than a lot of the other kind of marketing. It is taking pictures of your beautifully designed planner. If you were already doing that, then, it's really the exact kind of thing that you're doing. Is this the new Tupperware party thing? Kind of, but like Tupperware parties are usually MLMs. and I will say the MLMs haven't really reached, I wouldn't say the planner community hasn't, that doesn't mean there aren't plenty of MLM Huns in the world of planners, but I would say the actual planning businesses are, I haven't found one that's yet an MLM. And probably part of the reason that they haven't been sort of preyed on by the world of MLMs, because I think that in general, the planning community tends to be pretty dominated by exactly the kind of people that are at risk of MLMs. So there's a lot of people that are, there's a lot of immigrants. There are a lot of young college students. There are a lot of people that are stay-at-home moms, particularly of multiple children. So there's a lot of people that kind of fall exactly in the category where MLMs tend to prey. And I think the reason that it hasn't been as heavily dominated within like the business models of the planning community is because uniqueness is such a large component of it. And uniqueness is not what sells MLMs, right? So, Iris Bear says, because that's exactly why my mom did that kind of thing back in the day to get the stuff. They were all MLMs. Yeah, I think the really important thing about this is that individuals are producing the products themselves, and the either the content or the physical products themselves, and there isn't something centralized where the main way that you're making money is by recruiting other people into the pyramid, which is what an MLM is, which is what most of those Tupperware parties are. Latitude says, I have considered becoming an ex-Epsi sticker shop owner specifically for like PR stuff. Me too. Welcome to the world. I already ship and sell stuff all the time, so, Latitude says, Archer and Olive is closing applications today, and I really considered it. I don't actually know Archer and Olive, but I'm assuming they're a sticker shop. So this is exactly the kind of like world of, I guess, the like micro economies in this. So one of the things that I find that particularly blows me away about stickers, like there are hundreds, there's thousands. I was trying to figure out if saying thousands is a hyperbole, but there's definitely thousands of sticker shops. And it's kind of like the reason I'm listed on Amazon as someone who has a book is because you don't exist as a book unless you're on Amazon. And the same is true with sticker shops. So sticker shops, if they don't exist on Etsy, are not really planner sticker shops because people use Etsy as sort of their search tool for planner stickers. But then the other way that they find out about them is that what is particularly notable and interesting about planner marketing is that the stickers they might be seasonally themed, but they are evergreen in theory. So rarely are planner stickers something that wouldn't have shelf viability, right? They're not They are not perishable. Usually they are something where people are printing them on demand, so they don't necessarily have to have a ton of inventory already, especially if they're a smaller shop. So, they're only getting maybe a couple orders a week. They print those and they pack them out for people at the same time. What this means is that having those micro influencers is incredibly valuable to the business model, because when people are, there's seasonality to when people are searching for planners. They tend to search around, in the US, around the beginning of the school year, August, September, and then they tend to search around December or January again for planner stuff. But they're looking for inspiration, and they don't care if it's from 3 years ago. If they like the planning style, they'll click on that, see what sticker shops they are, then they go into the sticker shops. And so there's value in the content that's really evergreen, and that's why this marketing model works so well for them. And then the other way they do PR as well for YouTubers. So YouTubers that fit in certain niches will get PR kits, and they will do Plan With Me's on YouTube. And a lot of people watch Plan With Me's on YouTube to get inspiration for planners. And then the other reason that they'll watch Plan With Me's on YouTube is some people will watch it as like a calming background activity. It's kind of like ASMR for stationery nerds, I guess. Some people will do totally like silent Plan With Me's, and then some people will do very chatty ones. It just depends on kind of the style. But then the last reason people will look at it is that they're in some sort of rut with their planner, and they want to get ideas on how to emulate someone's planning style, and you can find out what kind of pens they use and what kind of stickers they use. So, should we actually dive into the Hobonichi now? Or should we eat this donut and then come back to the Hobonichi? Because I'm very excited to talk about the Hobonichi bit of the world. Did I miss anything? Talked about PR groups, talked about Facebook groups. Now we can dive into the cult that is Hobonichi and Japanese planners. Donut and then Hobonichi. Okay. Well, I'll start on the Hobonichi while this gets... I just put it on like 200 in the toaster oven. So the donut is going to be heated up, and the reason it's going to be heated up is because we're going to stick it in the toaster oven because it was recommended by the people at the donut shop. I, for you all, am trying a savory donut again. I didn't like it last time, or the time before that I tried one, but there is a new one. It is called Buffalo Bleu, and it has a house-made vegan blue cheese, and then it also has soy curls in it that are like buffalo sauce style flavor. But when I was talking with them about why I didn't like it, I was like, I think it's because after I get the donut, they're not warm anymore. And he's like, oh, you can totally heat them up in the toaster oven. One of the employees said that that's what he does when he gets home, and he just takes extra donuts, savory donuts for dinner sometimes. So, I'm going to try that. Everybody's very excited about the donut. While it is heating up, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Hobonichi. So, it sounds delicious for a sandwich, but not a donut. Yeah, I will say that, like, fundamentally, it sounds like a delicious pierogi or something, but not... I don't know. We'll find out. So, what started to happen as international shipping started to become more practical and it became easier to make international, like, websites? It used to be that you had to get planners from Japan and Korea, which have huge stationery cultures. So kind of the biggest stationery cultures of the world, where it's kind of persisted, are Germany and Japan. And then Korea also has like a pretty big stationery culture, but I would say Japan has an even stronger planner and stationery culture than probably any country I've been to in the world. And because of that, Japanese planners, despite the fact that they usually have extremely limited English in them, became very much like a cult item. And there were always a couple like importer-exporters that existed in the US that would be like unique, planner stores that would import maybe some German and some Japanese planners. And the reason that they would do that is because, there's always been people that are really into fountain pens all over the world. And fountain pen enthusiasts tend to congregate at stationery stores. And they will, the like people that are interested in fountain pens are also very interested in paper, because your experience writing with a fountain pen or a glass dip pen, those kind of pens, really varies based on the type of paper that you have. Japan has always been quite obsessed with stamps on a cultural level, and pens, and also paper and tiny bags and things like that. And because of that, they have a lot of very unique papers, including the Tomoe River paper, which is a super thin paper. It's thin, like if you felt like Bible paper before, you know how like the Bible's a really thick book if you're getting like a King James Bible or something. It's a very thick book, but despite having thousands of pages, it's much less thick than it would be because it has a very like kind of thin but still very durable paper. Tomoe River paper is a thin but durable paper, which allows you to have very many number of pages in planners, but still have a relatively light book, but it takes fountain pens really well. And Tomoe River paper is in use in quite a lot of Japanese planners because it is a Japanese kind of paper. And because of that, that started really the trend of people getting into Japanese planners here in the States. I was like passingly interested in Japanese planners, particularly the Hobonichi. I'd seen them online. A lot of people did what was called Hobonichi, which was essentially doing journaling, but then they would put like a date header at the top to make it look like a Hobonichi, because it was really hard to get Hobonichis in the States, even just a couple, like I would say like 5 or 6 years ago. And I keep saying the States because I'm in the States, but this is a very much an international community. People are obsessed with these all over the place, which is very evident once you start searching for planners on YouTube and stuff like that. I got so excited. I don't know what dust I just breathed in. All right, let's eat this donut before it goes cold. All right. Here is the donut. Back. Very hard to get. It's farther? Usually I'm much closer. Okay. This is the donut. It is the Buffalo Blue donut, and it has like sugar on the top. And it is warmed up. Oh yeah. It tastes cheesy. It looks like I'm eating like a sandwich, not a donut. I think I might like it warm. That might have been the problem. It's not too sweet yet, but I wonder when I get to the middle where I see some sugar if I'm not going to like it as much. It tastes cheesy. I know I'm not an authority on cheese, but this is just a huge chunk of soy curl. Can you see that inside? It totally looks like a cheeseburger or something. It is kind of a calzone. It is a calzone. You are correct. Donut tax is happening right now. I really like it. It doesn't really taste like... It doesn't taste like a calzone, but yeah, it has a lot of calzone qualities to it. So pretty much it's a fried calzone. This is delicious. Oh, I just got like a huge bite of the cheese. Mm-hmm. The problem was not heating these up before. 4.5 out of 5. I would eat again. Is it a donut? It is fried, but it doesn't have a hole in the middle. Erin's attempting to recreate 4.5. I do agree. The cheese is all on one side, so it is a B for ingredient distribution. Whoever packed that one. Yeah, I like it. I do think it is a calzonut. But I like it. It's interesting. It's very hard to describe as a donut, but I do recognize it is made with donut dough and it's fried. I didn't taste any of the sweetness on it. It looked like it had sugar on the top, but I'm wondering if that was actually something else because, well, it's all gone now. I can't taste it to see. It's gone. I just tried to reach over to grab it. All right. So, when I was in Japan, we went wild. There is an 8-story, there are several 8-story department stores that mostly sell stationery in Japan. And while we were there, we got a huge variety of different books. So I found this one. All of these I found and I was like, wow, these are extremely unique. So I found this one and I was like, I have to get this just because I've never seen it before. It is a planner that is a Gantt chart planner. So it's just for planning projects. And this is a great example of stuff you would only find in Japan because you would have to specifically ask a Japanese shopping service to get that for you. Those don't have the kind of cult following. Here is another one that is very, very common in Japan. We saw it at a ton of stores, but is super rare here. So it is a double diary. So you can flip on the top to like a month overview, and then at the bottom, a daily checklist. So you can have like at the top, this is going to be very hard to focus, I'm sorry. At the top, you can have like your monthly schedule or your Gantt chart so that you can kind of see them both, but they flip in 2 different sections. So this is another really, really common one. And then the one that I ended up getting that I actually used as my regular planner is a Jibun Techo. And Jibun Techo are, they do have very much a cult following, and they have such a cult following that they immediately sell out amongst the resellers that sell them here in the US. They also have far less Japanese in them than the Hobonichi, which is the other one with a cult following. So, this Jibun Techo is considered a life book, which means that there is a separate booklet. It's similar to the Hobonichi. There's a separate booklet that contains your, like, lists. Some of the lists in here are the things like recommendations list, weekly plan, where you put an age chart. This is a very common thing in Japanese planners. So this is the kind of planner that, like, the reason I liked it is because it has extensive tracking available. So this is a 24-hour timeline, which is very good because I worked like super early in the morning. And then it has tracking down here for how you felt during the day, your mood, and then what you ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then up here is the weather icons, and then down the side. And so it's very much like a data, it's very much a data book. Oh, I think it's pronounced Techo. Now I'm questioning myself. I do not speak Japanese, just so we know, which is hilarious because at this point I think all of my planners are from Japan and have Japanese on them. So the last one is one I tried out and did not work for me, which was Mark's Edit, but I do use their daily planner. So Mark's Edit has the like a paper similar to the Tomoe River paper in that it is very thin paper. And I ordered this one from a reseller because I was not in Japan. This was a 2021 book. Did not work for us. Latitude just wants this to turn into a haul. I'm like, want to talk about the economies and the price gouging in the Hobonichi world. This is the Mossery planner. This is another planner that I filled in the entirety of. And the hardest part for me was that I got this. This is a Malaysian company that is trying to compete at a lower price range with the Hobonichi. So they do... Hobonichi's distinguishing feature is that they do a ton of collaborations with designers for the covers. So what Mossery has done is the covers are a different style. They are hard book style versus the Hobonichi covers are kind of closer to the Filofax, like soft covers here. And the Hobonichi or the Mossery planners are more of a hard book style, but the type that I got is called a Twinbook. And at the time that I got like a side, like a notebook on one side, and then the other side was the planner side, but it was only a 6-month planner. Because it came from Malaysia and there were very few resellers in the US, I loved it. It worked great for me for the first 6 months of the year. I used it up entirely, and then my life started falling apart around my eyes at the end of June when the 6-month book finished. And these actual refill books are like $8.50, but because I was going to have to order the and it's thread bound on the side. The reason that I did not order the additional 6 months was because for an $8.50 book, I was going to have to pay $17 in shipping. And I would rather apparently spend $60 on a totally new planner than spend 3 times as much to ship a book. So I am now waiting out until January, and a local stationery store does get in the full year, January through June, Mosseries. So I'm able to get, I can refill this cover or get a new cover with a refillable book. I do really, really like this. And according to Latitude, the solution all along has been to just have refills. So let's talk about Hobonichi and why my existential crisis is leading me down the path of a possible Hobonichi. So Hobonichi probably has the entirety of the marketing game nailed down more than anything else. So Hobonichi Techo is, like, I would say the number 1 or number 2 most common planner brand in Japan. They're extremely popular, and what they are known for is that they have their releases come on September 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd each year. And they, for a long time, had no English website, but everybody would find tools to be able to check out because they have that much of an international kind of trend. But the big thing is how marketed they are. So, do I need to screen mirror again? So this gives you an idea. They tease the new covers and planner lineups for months ahead of time on their Instagram. And the notable thing about these covers is that they often sell out on the day, like within a couple hours of going live. So they do a bunch of collaborations, but then they additionally have like 4 kind of different variations of the inside that you can do. Hobonichi markets, Latitude, look at this marketing compared to an average planner brand. So this is a great example. This is a cover. This is not a leather cover. It is not made of particularly expensive materials. This is made of PVC. They do styled shoots to fit the vibe of every single one of their planners. So this one is called Bourbon Sweet. Guess how much this planner cover is? And they are refillable, yet the Hobonichi trend is such that people get totally new planner covers each year, and some people get almost every single Hobonichi cover they possibly can. And then the other thing, so this cover right here is, if you were to buy it directly from Hobonichi, is 2,800 yen, so about $25. Seems fairly reasonable. Now, my friend, let's go see what some of these planners covers go for. So this is an example from someone I linked to in the description, Rainbow Holic, who did a Hobonichi 2022 shopping guide. She showed off, this is all of their different kind of planner covers, and this she links to is the spreadsheet that she makes when she's determining what she wants to get for Hobonichi, because you need to be ready with the link on the day of order and know what you want to get from the Hobonichi website, because they sell out. Almost everything we just looked at is already sold out on that website, and it is like 4 days after the last sale opened. This is what these covers go for online. So this is a 2017 cover that was a designer, Mina Perhonen. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she does a lot of collabs with Hobonichi. And this one just came out. This planner cover, which I really like, of course. This planner cover just came out like 4 days ago, and it's already being marked up to $120. This is not made of leather. This is not made of any high-end materials. This planner cover is from 2014. It's going for $217. This one's going for $197 on eBay. So it is extremely evident that there is tons and tons of markups going on in the planner world. As Rainbow Holic put it, Hobonichi shopping is a serious matter. So that is just the cover price. That is just the cover price. So there are 2 cover sizes in the world of Hobonichi, A5 and A6. A5 is roughly this size. It's a little taller than this. It's like this size, but wider. This is an A5 Slim. And then A6 is much smaller. It's even smaller than this. So this is my daily planner, and this is Mark's Edit, and this is a B6, which is a little bit bigger than the A6. So in Japan, the most popular one is the Hobonichi A6 size. And they have different cover sizes for the 2 of them. But what people do, they pay $40 to $70 shippings plus customs if they have to in their countries. And they get the covers, the planners. They might get multiple types of planners to see what kind they want to do. And then there is additionally like so many different, oh, that's Jibun Techo. There are so many different accessories. So they are like, there is quite a lot of different accessories that are, you know, little things to put behind the paper. So a pencil board to put behind the paper. There is a thing called cover on cover, which is a cover you put over your cover. They do their special stickers. They do pencil boards that you put behind is very common with the Tomoe river paper. And the reason it is because The Tomoe river paper is quite nice to write on with fountain pens, but you can end up with, if you use a lot of pressure, you can end up with ghosting on the page behind. So people do pencil boards to write on it. What is nice about the Tomoe river paper, someone asked like what the Tomoe river paper, like if it rips when you erase on it. So Jibun Techo is not actually Tomoe river paper. It's a similar kind of paper, but it's their own paper called a thin paper. And it is particularly meant to work with erasable pens. So it's very good at being erased on. So these are erasable pens. This is a Frixon erasable pen, which is another kind of pen that is from Japan. So what you may not realize is every single pen that you were obsessed with in the 90s in grade school, if you were one of those jelly pen people, or you knew those jelly pen people, the Sakura jelly rolls, the Pilot pens, the Frixon pens, Tombow, those are all Japanese brands. So the Japanese hold on the stationery market is quite good. Rachel says, okay, I try not to log into YouTube, but I had to. I bought one last year and now find the cover I bought last year. Kodu Hibino is going for 80 euros. Yeah, so like that's like 100 USD. So that is one of the like big things. Oro says, haha, those pens are fantastic for sewing. They iron off with heat. Yeah, one of my pens, the ink stopped working, so I put it in the fridge because I was told that it might have just overheated. So it's gone invisible. So the thing about Hobonichi's accessories is that like each of those things adds up. So I linked to down in the description a Danish YouTuber who did my first ever Hobonichi purchase unboxing. The unboxing, the box that she got was this big because, as she put it, she'd been thinking for years about doing Hobonichi, joining the Hobonichi cult of people that got the planners, but she wanted to wait. She wanted to wait to like order and wanted to combine possibly everything she possibly could because she's Danish and she was going to have to pay shipping and taxes. So there are US resellers so that you don't have to pay like $60 to $80 in shipping to get things directly from Hobonichi, but they may or may not get big things. And the reseller, a lot of the resellers have just gotten them in the US. Some of them are still stocking their shelves with them. They will sell out almost immediately, and then they will be immediately listed online for the same price or higher as what they originally bought. So that is the big thing. The planner that I'm interested in getting is the Hobonichi Cousin A5, which combines daily pages at the back with weekly layout at the front. The weekly layout I really like. It's quite clean, graph style, would work well for me. You can do a lot with it. And it has a lot of similar front pages to the Jibun Techo, which I used in 2019. And I liked the problem I'm running into is that you have to buy all of these other accessories for it. So like, you know, the planner itself is really like not going to stand up to being hauled around without getting a cover. So then you've got to add on, even if you get like the third party covers, the cheapest you can find is like $20 or $30. And people, there's just like a lot of kind of consumerism in the world of planners where it just kind of spins out of control. And it makes you really question why you can't just get a $10 planner from Target. The other thing too is that this planner consumption, because the whole like world of planning, like the economy of planning is based on making content, right? So that is how things get sold in the planner world. That's how stickers get sold. That's how people decide if they want to get a planner that comes from all over the world. Like the people that fall into Hobonichi usually don't fall in accidentally. Like I accidentally fell into Jibun Techo, and that is only because I was in Japan and saw it in a planner store. And I was already planner oriented, so you know that, but people don't just like accidentally fall into Hobonichi. They're consuming content from people that they relate to in some way. So people that they like their creative style, or people that they share a similar lifestyle and language to. And they are then falling in that way. But content runs the entire demand and the economy for it. And it really drives these kind of trends within the planner community. And the, like, you know, there'll be like, one of the reasons I think that it leads to people getting so many planners and trying out so many planner styles is like, when there was one planner option and you had to buy it at Staples in September when you were going back to school, you would maybe obsess over the choice, but then you made your choice and you'd stick with it through the year because you couldn't find planners to buy between September and then maybe January, right? And now that it kind of feels like you have these universal amount of choices, because if you find something that you like, you can probably find a way to get it. If from a shopping service abroad, being able to hunt down on secondhand marketplaces, if you're willing to pay, you can find it. And the content that people make really demands new and novel things, because people can't watch you just plan necessarily in the same planner with the same stickers week after week. That isn't interesting. So a lot of the people that are like big on planner YouTube, they have a work planner, a social media planner. These are all separate books. A work planner, a social media planner, a faith planner, a a family planner, a planner for just their fitness, maybe just their food. Like, they just have all of this. And that's largely because the more planners you have, the more like ability to make content that you have. Rachel says, as my style of planner, the Asics works fine, but I'll buy another one since I bought the nice cover. But I actually think I like the Slingshot Anarchist planner best. Yes, Slingshot. Slingshot never worked for me, but I appreciated it. All my friends had it. I also would like to criticize all of my friends that got the Slingshot, used it to put all of their friends' phone numbers in, and back in the day when phone numbers were valuable, and their names, and then they would take their Slingshot to protests. And I'd be like, you literally just handed the Rolodex of all of the people you're in contact with. Oh, it says the connection to your device was lost. Are we still on the air? I'm just going to vamp while I wait to find out what happened. So do you all want to shop with me now? We should look at Floof of the Week first, I guess. All right, so Floof of the Week this week. I didn't even get into washi tape resales. There was a brief donut banner, sorry. All right, so our Floof of the... Oh, AirPlay is gone. I have to push this up. Okay. Floof of the Week. This is the intro for the segment. We need a banner for Floof of the Week. All right, so Floof of the Week is one of the floofs that comes to us from the patrons, which are the lovely people that support the work of Oh My Dollar, these weekly live streams, the podcast, the forums, the books, the workshops, everything through Patreon. We call them the Personal Finance Society. You can find out more about our Patreon down there below. And each week we show a floof of the week. So this floof's name is Teddy Brexevelt. And Teddy was a stray from the Bayou who loved to watch lizards that are close by on the windows because of his terrible eyesight. He has been seen leaping down from the armoire in my home office during video conference calls. Look at this floof. Look at this floof. Look how cute this floof is. That's it. That's our floof of the week. Wood cuddle. 15 out of 10. Oh, and this is Susan B's floof of the week. Look how cute. So cute. I love Teddy too. Teddy is really cute. I like Teddy Brexevelt. It's like Teddy Roosevelt, but Brexevelt. I'm pretty sure Teddy Brexevelt is the same cat who appears on this sticker. I'm pretty sure. At the very least, looks exactly like this cat. Oh, it's going to be so hard to show on here. but one of these stickers from my planner stickers shop, my sticker shop, in the middle there, the date night one, is $10 about, I think. Pretty sure. Ugh. All right. Thank you for your Floof of the Week submission. We will have a new Floof of the Week next week. I'm just gonna shop. Like I told you all, I'm supposed to be on vacation in Denmark right now, and I'm not. So I can just do whatever I want on this live stream. And I've decided I'm gonna sucker you all into looking through Hobonichi cover planners with me. So what I ended up doing is, because the resale value of these is identical or the same, I'm identical or higher. I have decided to get the Hobonichi that I'm interested in so I can like touch and feel it and decide it, because they sell out so quickly. So I got just the book from a US reseller, which cost $60 for the one that I am, which does seem to be the price almost everywhere from the reseller's perspective, which is really pricey for a planner. That being said, it is a daily planner and a weekly and a monthly planner, so it's a lot of pages. I got the one that's split into 2 books, so it won't get quite so big, because I do like to use a lot of like stickers and stuff on my planner, and because of that, my pages do tend to get really thick towards the end of the year. As you can see, like, this was just a weekly planner, and it definitely like grew quite a lot in size. Is it shared right now? So I think I'm morally opposed to spending. So I'm gonna get that. And if I end up not liking it, especially if I don't use it, but even if you use it, because the resale value on these is ridiculous, I'll just sell it for the same price I bought it on, like Mercari or something like that. And I gotta support a nice, Asian-owned business in Chicago that is a reseller for it. So hopefully that'll work fine. This one I really like, but I don't like it, like $60 enough, because it's pretty much $60 at almost all the resellers. I also don't technically really need to get a cover, but I am worried about what's going to happen to the planner if I don't have a cover. I'm also wondering, the reason I didn't buy a cover yet is I don't really want to spend a ton of money on a cover if I get the planner and end up deciding it's not going to work out. I also ordered another planner for 2022. So the reason I'm gone like completely off the rocker is apparently I could not stand the wait to get the new Mossery weekly planner. A local shop is emailing me when they have them in stock, and I'm going to pick up like the January through December. And that one's a much more reasonable price range. They're like $30. I believe you can buy them on their website, littleotsu.com, which is a local shop here. So if you are interested in getting a Mossery planner and you do not want to pay for the shipping from Singapore, they are selling those on the Little Otsu website, and a couple other US resellers that have them. But there were no US resellers that had the booklets for the end of this year after I lived through the first half of this year and like consistently used it. And so I started more heavily using my daily-ish journal as a to-do list because I had it. And I really like dates. Dates are really important to me, but I'm struggling really hard missing a weekly overview because this only has monthly and weekly. And I've now kind of become into the daily planner sort of thing. So I was considering, I really like Midori paper, which is another Japanese paper. It's a much thicker, creamier paper, but they have this thing called the Midori Day Length. So, oh, that's the other thing. You can order from Amazon.jp and the shipping is not outrageous. So that's how a lot of people in the US especially get their stuff, is from Amazon.jp. because it's usually less marked up than it is from third-party resellers. So I do kind of like this. I love the feel of this paper. It works really well with fountain pens. I mean, well, it works really well with my one fountain pen. I've only recently become a fountain pen person. Believe it or not, this is a full-size pen. It, like, uncaps and becomes a full-size pen. And as someone who couldn't write by hand for a long time, I'm kind of, like, relearning writing tools since I've been properly treated for my arthritis. And I get a lot of pleasure out of writing on this. And this one works really well with this. So I have this coming, but now I'm obsessed with the weekly pages. And the Hobonichi cousin combines the two. So now I'm sort of wondering if I should just do that. And I've always been interested in the Hobonichi because they do have such a cult following. So this is, I'm trying to see, like, do they actually show you what it looks like inside on any of these pages? They just want to show you their fancy, fancy calendars. Sorry, this is a lot of scrolling. I know it's not. Okay, so they have, like, little calendars, whatever. This is a Japanese version. They have no English version of this. But the like actual daily pages are kind of similar to the ones I use right now. The downside of them is that I need the weekly pages to be A5 size. I cannot use something smaller than this for the weekly, but that means my daily pages with the combined thing would be that big. So I don't know. Then the question is, do I just get a third-party cover? Latitude says, hey, did you know you can get a digital planner to, like, try out a style before you commit to anything and use it on your iPad? That's never gonna happen. So I don't like I don't plan to do stuff digitally. Bye, Oro. Thank you for joining. Yeah, we're just shopping on the internet. So I don't like doing, I almost never use my iPad. I pretty much just use them for this. It was kind of a wasted purchase for me. I haven't really traveled much with since then, so I wonder if it might have better utility for travel. But yeah, I don't know. I would never do digital planning. I didn't even dive into digital planning. I had some slides about it, but it's wild. You can buy stickers for your digital planner. This is like the whole new trend because one of the downsides of the, like, sticker and planning community is that it always kind of felt like there was, like, a doomed amount of time before everybody would switch away from it. I don't think that's still really true. There's still a lot of us that really like paper, but that, like, a lot of people wanted to build businesses in such a way where they weren't required to be in one place and ship things out with inventory. And so a lot of the businesses tried to switch to a digital planning model and digital stickers and stuff like that. Yeah. Iris Bear says, I've attempted paper planning, but it never lasted very long for me. So I do everything on my Google Calendar for, like, work meetings and everything, but I need to fill in my planner once a week with the next week's view. So I don't, like, future plan the weekly view in my planner, but I do it to kind of set my head in space. And the other reason that paper planning works really well for me, one, I do delight in, like, physically checking things off in a way. But the other thing is that there's a limit on how many to-dos you can put on your list and how many hours there are in the day. One thing I run into with digital planning is that I make endless to-do lists. Latitude says, yes, you can buy stickers for your digital planner and use them again and again. Yeah, I'm so glad it works for some people. It so does not work for me. I use them in GoodNotes and in Notion. I just couldn't get into GoodNotes. I tried, but I do all my note taking and everything for school on my iPad. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I originally got the iPad partially because I thought I would be going back to grad school this year, but I am not doing that. So, Rachel says, maybe I'll sell my frou-frou cover and just buy another Slingshot. Definitely more than my Hobonichi stuff. Rachel says, I need the kinesthetics scribbling aspect of it. Yeah, I like the limits on to-dos, I think, are really important to me, but I just, as someone who couldn't hold a pen like all through college, and I did not have an iPad in college, or an iPhone, but like someone who liked to, who like now really enjoys the fact that I can write. I can't write for super long periods of time. Like I definitely can't. Like one page in this is kind of tops out my ability to grip, because my hands are arthritic, but I like enjoy being able to do it and actually physically checking off the boxes. And aesthetically, it's always just very satisfying to me to see it open on my desk. The other thing is like the to-do limits, like I'm forced to categorize things in such a way when I put them into my planner that it helps me organize them in my head better than the way that I do stuff digitally, because digitally I tend to think of things as like a control F function or something like that. So the other reason why testing out, like the only way that I would test out a layout is if I could get it printed and then I at least could like try it, print it out. But the things I'm really concerned about with the Hobonichi are not the layout. I'm concerned about how big the book is going to be and like carrying it around and what the paper feels like. So the digital planner wouldn't really work for me. All right, do we want to look through planners some more? So these are different planner covers. I'm trying to figure out if, like, so this is a great example of, like, I did not last very long. This is a Kiki K, which is another cult brand, this one from Australia, that makes, I got this, like, used, no, wait, this is Simply Stories, not Kiki K, but I got this used, and I tried to get into it, but it was just too big for me. And I don't like binders, because I find them very hard to write near the edges of. So I had gotten planner inserts for these. I just could not get into the Filofax world. And I know that it isn't the same size, because it's the covers for the Hobonichi are going to be about this size rather than that size. But I am like very concerned that it's going to feel just huge, because it's like as tall and a little wider. It's going to be almost this big, I feel like. So I don't know. I'm just really concerned that it's going to be too big to carry around the A5. So Latitude says, I just use a bullet journal paired with the $7.99 Target planner, which is basically a Twinbook, but with way more work. That's my problem with the whole, like, the whole bullet journaling thing is like the concepts work for me, but I need the physical structure. Like I like the planner to have, I don't like a totally empty notebook that I then have to fill and set up and everything like that. I like all of the dates and the calendars and everything to already be in there. So I get why people like bullet journaling. It doesn't work for me. I need that, like all of the constrictions and stuff. Rachel says, why not go with the A6? It has felt quite tidy to me with that saw. It is too small for me. So this is B6, which is bigger than A6. And the only reason that this size works okay is because it is my dailies. So daily, I'm fine with this size. But the reason I want to go with the cousin, which only comes in A5 size, is the cousin has both the weekly and the dailies. I really am struggling with not having a weekly planner because I don't have one right now. Despite all of these planners, I don't actually have a weekly planner right now because my Mossery ended in June, and I've been on a struggle bus. It's really, really hard for me. I don't like having to open up a computer in order to like see what my week at a glance looks like. It's hard to like forward plan without a week view. I only think in weeks vertically. So that's just like how my brain works. I cannot use horizontal planners. They all have to be vertical for me. So I liked the daily. I've kind of gotten into it. Partially because I haven't put a lot of pressure on it. I haven't been like, I always have to fill in these things every day. And it's been very helpful because previously I ran into the problem of my like weekly spreads didn't have enough room for just my daily long to-do lists when I'm doing things like cleaning the house, and I like to have every individual thing like on a to-do list. And I don't use like that. So one thing that you can do is you can get the A5, which is the smaller size, but once again, it's even smaller than this, which I find way, way small. And you can get an insert now that is the weekly insert. So one of the kind of bananas things I'm considering is getting another one, another planner. So Jibun Techo has come out with the Jibun Techo Days, which is kind of competing with Hobonichi, but it's a little even more my style. But it's I'm worried that they're all going to sell out before I make a decision because it's also really expensive. And I was thinking about combining one of the Mosseries in with the Jibun Techo Days in like the same thing and kind of DIYing my own cousin, if that makes sense. So this is what the Jibun Techo Days looks like. I really like the style because it does a lot of data tracking, which like fits my thing. So it's got like the weather up here, but what I think is unique about it is one, it shows you where you are in the week. And then the line that has like the checkboxes on one side, but in the middle, it has a 24-hour calendar. So you can like mark where you are in the day. Um, the and like you can also see where you are in the week, but I still need that weekly overview. And of course this only has a monthly, but this is only half the year book. So I feel like if I combined it with a weekly book, it might not actually be too thick together. I don't know. It's a little wild. So I'm worried it's going to be too big though, especially once I put a cover on it. But I do have like a clear plastic cover, so I might be able to just clear plastic cover it. I won't get any of like the cool pockets and everything, nor will I get like the beautiful covers that everybody has. But I see these and they just look kind of massively big. So like one of the styles that I could get is the one where you just cover the bare booklet with like a clear cover, but you won't get any of the internal pockets or anything. It just like is a slip cover versus like some of these, you know, absolutely amazing looking ones, but I feel like might be a little too big. Like, Anyway, so I was thinking about combining the Jibun Techo with the Midori Feel the Length of the Day one. And I like the Feel the Length of the Day because it shows sunrise, sunset on the 24-hour view. And I know it's in the Midori paper. And what I like about these is you can kind of divide at the bottom and do your little to-do list at the bottom because I don't ever stay up till midnight. And you can kind of use the top bar, but it's got that nice gradient and it shows you sunrise and sunset and it like changes. Is it out of context DIYing my own cousin? Denise says, I do the exact same thing, Latitude. A Blue Sky weekly planner from Target for forward planning and a bullet journal for lists. I leave the bullet journal home and take the weekly with me to work. I wish that I was more... I wish I hadn't gotten so deep into the planner thing because I think I would be perfectly fine. There are really good options from the Blue Sky, which is kind of like the brand. They've bought a lot of the cult brands. So they've bought this brand. They bought Day Designer and Inkwell Press. And because of that, like, there's a lot of lower, like, so, like, they bought, when Day Designer came out, they were, like, $60, but then when they got bought by Blue Sky, they were able to make a mass market version at Target that's, like, $12, and it's great because it's just the economies of scale of working with a huge planner brand. So... Denise says, I am the opposite of a decorative planner. I need blank space. Haha. Well, that's what a lot of people really like about the Hobonichi is it's like a very flexible style. Not that I want to encourage anybody to join this cult, but like the Hobonichi layout is very like a blank space kind of thing. And I like that. I like structure within blank space. I don't know. You all are just here for my planner existential crisis. Do we like this? Is this fun for anybody? So I'm trying to find just like a plain version of the calendar. Yeah, so this is what the weekly calendar looks like. It's very, like, it's a very clean sort of spread. What's also cool about it is that it is a 24-hour calendar, so it works. I don't know, I think it works really well. But, oh yeah, every year they have a new shop for that. Oh, the big spirals at Inkwell Press. It is an Inkwell Press. The problem I have with the Inkwell Press and why I never finished this one is I love their paper. I love their layouts. They have beautiful tabs, and I can't deal. It was too big. It's too heavy, and it's got these darn rings, and I can't handle rings. So I'm too cheap to pay for shipping. Mossery Twinbook is my sweet spot layout-wise, but I'm too cheap to buy a cover, and the refills keep selling out. Have you been trying to buy it from Mossery? Because it's pretty decently priced from the local resellers. So if you go to Little Otsu, I like vertical, so we do that. It's $29 including the planners. So, or including the cover. So it's, you know, this, I will say, this does speak to how much I'm now apparently willing to spend on planners, but that's like I feel like a pretty good sweet spot. But oh, you said Twinbook is your ideal thing. Yeah, if you already have the cover. I haven't been able to find any US resellers for the refills for the Twinbooks. Rachel says, hey, I gotta run, but I love the breaking down of all the planners. It's such a world out there. Thanks for doing this. Always fun to pop in and say hi. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming to whatever this live stream was today. We didn't even get into the washi tape reselling. Thank you for joining. Latitude says it's literally just where all my regular planning goes and like school task. The bullet journal is for like journaling and planning. Denise says, oh, my kid's in PDX right now, so I think he needs to make a stop. I mean, if he makes a stop at Little Otsu for you, just send a shopping list. Because if you like any stationery stuff or you have particular pencils or planners or anything, I will say they have like, if you're less picky than me, they have really amazing, unique planners that just don't have like a ton of distribution in the US, and they also have their own planner as well at Little Otsu. But the US shipping is like also quite reasonable, I would say. And they also stock Kartkotek, which is a Danish brand that is another cult brand. It's probably pronounced like Kartkotek because it's Danish, so it sounds like you're doing things in marbles. Denise says he keeps calling me to ask about coffee shops and what to order at Jack in the Box, so it would only be fair. I mean, I think that it's totally reasonable to have him stop in. Yeah, I would say like the other big stationery shop that imports Japanese brands is Atlas. So there's a couple. So there's jetpens.com, which will get the Jibun Techos and is working on stocking the Hobonichis right now. I've started to see stuff go up, but like it's so competitive to get the Hobonichis from them that like, and the Jibun Techos that you sign up to get notified when the planners are listed. Are there any non-cult brands? Pretty much anything you would find at like Target or Michael's are not really a cult brand. Like, you know, you don't really see people defining themselves as blue sky people. I would say people aren't really Recollections cult planners. That's the store brand for Michael's, a lot of which are like gorgeous and wonderful. I actually have some. I got one of these ones to see something about the research for my own planner brand. But this is a Recollections planner from Michael's. And like this quality and extras would not exist on a lot of the indie brands. Like obviously it's got like a very plasticky cover and stuff like that. But it includes stickers come for free, like pages and pages of stickers, which most of the like indie brands can't afford to do. There is an envelope built on in the inside, which is extremely rare. And they also have like a sticker release sheet, which is a special kind of paper that like those old school sticker albums that you might remember from when you were kids, the paper that lets you put stickers down and then pull them off. Like they have a lot of features that you wouldn't be able to find in indie planners. Latitude says they're basically just Erin Condren planners and they're extremely okay. Yeah, they're very good for the price point. I don't like them because almost all of them have rings and they don't have very many vertical. Those features all look like things you can only do at scale. Correct. They very much are things you can really only do at scale. I actually found a really great planner at Aldi a few years ago. Paper was even decent for my foo-foo tastes. I found a bunch of Happy Planner stickers at grocery outlet the other day. They didn't have any. They had like the sticker books for $5 instead of $20. And I had a moment of like, maybe if I was a reseller, I could buy a bunch of these and try to shift them on Mercari or something like that. So I hate really big rings. So I'm just like totally over them. I think Latitude is having some sort of PTSD about the rings. That sounds like something that's probably terrible to stock. So yeah. Erin Condren is another one of those kind of cult brands. They got really big. And then a lot of people moved away from Erin Condren for political reasons because the owner of the brand did some really dumb stuff around Black Lives Matter. Like her kids' school was upset they couldn't have a graduation because of COVID. And then they tried to like organize a graduation in the march. But it wasn't like we're going in solidarity to support a Black Lives Matter march. It was like nobody's getting arrested for gathering at these marches. So instead, we're just going to have our graduation inside of the march. And everybody got very upset. I will also note that the planner community is not a monolith. It is extremely diverse. And there were quite a lot of people who are Erin Condren fans who were mostly Black women. I will say it's extremely diverse, but not very diverse along a gender spectrum. It tends to be heavily into the people that are into the feminine arts. And that like left Erin Condren. And so a ton of people moved brands last year that had been in Erin Condren for years. Erin Condren is also big enough, even though they were kind of a cult brand, they grew a lot. And because of that, they can do things at scale now. But when that happens, people are always criticizing how they've lost the heart, they've sold out. So even not just for the political reasons, a lot of people have been moving on from there. But a lot of people in the planning community just change planners all the time. I don't know. Do you think I should get a Hobonichi cousin? Do you think I should DIY my own Hobonichi cousin? Do you think I should just give this all up and just go back to the Mossery? I like the daily now, but now I've decided I need to have it in one book. There's this part of me that just wants to try out the Hobonichi because it's just circulated around my world for years and years. And I'm like tempted to try it out. Denise says, so I admit I usually have planned Sunday night, so I miss the live stream, but don't today. And I saw this around 8 while watching planner videos before bed. Well, welcome. I don't know if this is like as quality as some of the planner content. It's just Lily having an existential crisis of what I want. Latitude says you can do the daily in the notebook. No, if I get another Mossery planner, it's going to be the full year one, not the Twinbook, because you have to get the Twinbooks directly from Malaysia, and I am not paying $20 in shipping. So I will not be able to. Get Hobonichi, but buy the stickers from Mossery. Mossery doesn't really have stickers. They're not, I mean, they have stickers, but they're not my style of stickers. I don't need any more stickers. I need a planner, and I need someone to solve my planner problems. So, also, I won't do a daily in a notebook. I need a notebook. I need it to have dates. I need the structure, okay? It's very important. This is why like undated planners and just empty notebooks do not work for me. That's why I like planners so much more than I like notebooks. Denise says, try the Hobonichi. I bet you will like it a lot. Do you think the A5 is going to be too big for me? The other thing for me is like, I don't know what lifestyle I'm designing for, which is, I think, one of the things someone was saying earlier was that like planning stuff has really like upticked because the world is so out of control and we all just like kind of want to bring some order to it. But the irony is that I also have like less to plan. But I'm trying to plan for what is going to be a very, I think, different life in 2022 than it was in 2021 based on a bunch of stuff happening in my life. And so I'm like eager to try out a new planning style to like create rhythms and routines within that. But I don't really know what I'm planning for, because if I'm planning for a life where I'm biking around all the time and I need to haul a big planner, that's one thing. If I'm planning for it just being on the side of my desk while I work from this giant screen, then it doesn't really matter what size it is as long as it doesn't have rings, because I'll kill those. So life changes are the main reason I'm using the combo I am right now. I keep needing to switch it up in 2020. Yeah. Isn't the Passion Planner an A5? Well, it's not quite an A5, but it's very similar. These are almost the same measurements. A5s are just a smidge bigger than the American half size planner. They're just like a smidge wider. I think they're a little less tall. So this is an A5 Slim. So yeah, I think they're like a couple different millimeters at the top. So it'll be slightly bigger. I think it'll be the same width, but it'll be just a smidge taller. Yeah, you can see like the pink is sticking up past it. So, the problem if I would have zero problems if I knew that the Hobonichi cousin was going to be the same size as this, but the issue is part of the Hobonichi experience is these covers that everybody is obsessed with. And because you have both the daily pages to fill up and the weekly pages, a lot of people have all these different like ones, all these different like pens and everything that they bring around. And the book it doesn't have like a proper cover, so you have to get a cover for it, and then I'm worried about it being too big. So for me, the A5 doesn't get too thick, but I don't use stickers. The Hobonichi paper is so nice and thin, though. Yeah, that is the thing. This does not have Tomoe River paper. So I didn't get a pencil board yet. I didn't get any accessories because I'm not, like, sure about what I want to do. And I also kind of am, like, opposed to spending $8 on, like, a piece of plastic to go behind a piece of paper. So I'm probably going to try to visit one of the local stationery stores here and see what I can get. I'm willing to pay a little bit more to support a local store. So if I do decide to go with the Hobonichi, I'll try to see what of those kind of accessories I could get. You could go 80s middle school and make a grocery bag cover. Oh, I was thinking about making a fabric cover. I feel like the old school grocery bag cover, that's not even 80s middle school. I think they still do that in school. I did that with my textbooks in college, but maybe that's because I'm a 90s elementary school student. But I don't think the paper cover will hold up to the kind of pressure, because it is a paper cover and it has an open binding. So the binding is like even more open than this kind of style of binding. Like this is like super rough, just tape binding, and it's similar to the Hobonichi. So I guess that's the concern that I have about it. I don't know. I feel like branding wise, I'm more of a Jibun Techo kind of person. Like they're very like data oriented, and the like font is like a kind of 90s computery font versus the Hobonichi's like sans serif. I feel like if you were to brand me as a person, you would brand me as Jibun Techo. They're also this one is less colorful because it's the Biz version, because I got it in a March in Japan and they only sell the Biz for the April like school year starting in Japan. But normally Jibun Techo has like tons of colors in it, And I love a lot of colors, and I'm lazy, and I would love my planner to have colors without me having to put them in. So some elementary schools do that now too, with the paper covers on the textbooks. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't know. So I'm just worried that like the paper cover won't really work. But I have a clear, like I have like a PVC cover like this that fits A5. Yes, the answer is I own too much stuff. I own too much planner stuff, but it's all highly organized, so everything's fine. I'm fine, she said. But I do have like a Midori A5 cover that is like a, not quite a PVC. It's like a, anyway, it should protect it. So I might just put this on, and do that. But I wanna be part of the Hobonichi cover experience. The marketing has finally gotten to me, is the real answer that you need to know. All right, I'm gonna put up all of these planners. Denise says, I can see that. When I've played with naked Hobonichi in stores, it seems like it would die quickly in my backpack. Oh, you've paid with Hobonichi in stores? I only like briefly saw it in Japan, but I wasn't actively really considering the Hobonichi, and there wasn't a ton of them out because they're even like a cult thing in Japan. So Latitude says Jet Pens has cute pencil boards. Well, the problem is with Jet Pens is that I start filling up my cart, and then I come out of a fugue state 5 hours later, and I have like $60 worth of $2 pens and sticky notes in my cart, and I don't know how I got there. So the problem is when I try to go to Jet Pens, for one thing, I leave with like 20. Denise says, I don't think you can give a thorough overview of all planners without having had the Hobonichi experience. See, that's kind of how I feel. Can I call it market research and just put off the Oh My Dollar planner for one more year? I am going to release the planner layout to the Personal Finance Society members, so they'll at least get a PDF version of it. And I'm going to try to make it so that you can actually like edit it in some of the digital planning apps and stuff like that. But I am going to release that to patrons because it seems useful. There's an art store here that has some random display planners for comparison, even though they don't sell them. That sounds terrible. Maybe it's fine. Maybe that would actually scratch my itch as much as it was. I think the really hard part about going to all the Japanese planner stores is we felt like we never knew when we were going to see stuff again, because there was a lot of like unique stuff like this, like double schedule planner and this Gantt chart planner that we had like never seen before. And now that you can order from abroad from Amazon.jp, that's kind of what like Amazon Japan feels like, where you're just on it and you're like, things I never knew I needed. The Japanese like culture is really into bags and putting things in bags. It's like a sign of respect. And because of that, they have amazing pouches for everything. I didn't even get into the like $80 tiny pouches that Hobonichi sells. But they sell some gorgeous stuff. And there were so many tiny pouches when we were there. And every time I go on Amazon.jp now, I'm just like, do I need a pouch for this? It's so cute. The good news is that my inability to spend $20 on shipping, unless it's something I really know I need, it has prevented me from spending my entire paycheck on Amazon.jp or Jet Pens. So, all right, y'all. This has been a very long live stream. We have gone for 2 hours talking about planners now, so I think it's probably high time that I get out of here and go enjoy my week of PTO, which probably is going to involve even more shopping for planners. And maybe some other time we'll talk about washi tape we're selling, because people be out there selling washi tape rolls for $25 as though it is the normal going price for washi tape. And then people sell samples of washi tape on the internet. There's people that have whole businesses where they just sell washi tape samples. And I think it's brilliant. All right. I'll see you all next week. Please stay safe this week. Enjoy your week. And I'm going to go frolic around. Cheers. Bye.